do it to the cloud this time. All right. All right. So yeah, Jamie, thank you for accepting this to share this information that we're talking about. I know we're calling it core or path to core, basically, because that's the path you went on.
Yeah.
Is kind of weren't selling, weren't doing a whole lot, and all of a sudden we connected. We started talking about things, and things on your side started happening very fast. And so those are some of the things I'm seeing. If I wanted to see if you would talk to us about what that path kind of looks like, how that might look like for other people. I understand you might even have a course that you can help people through if they really want to get in depth and jump into the real thick of what that looks like. But yeah, that's basically what I was hoping for, is to see what your journey looks like, and where you started and how people can follow.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Well, and thank you. I'm honored to do it. You know, I love giving back. I love helping other people succeed. It's one of the reasons I think I do as well as I do as a coach, because it's the success of all of my clients, Keap clients, coaching clients, that we need that I just get so jazzed about. I guess I'm Jamie Gilliland. I'm in Georgia, near Savannah, Georgia. And I have a digital marketing agency, of course, which is focused mainly on sales and marketing automation. And when I say digital marketing agency, I say that more so for the client's perspective to look big. In reality, it's me, my husband, who is a copywriter. Don't ask him to go into Keap unless it's editing an email. He can do that, but don't ask him to add an email, just to edit the foundation I've already set up. And I have a part-time VA who works with us. So that's the agency when I talk about this. So all the stuff that I've done in the last year, I had to figure out how to find them, and how to encourage them to use Keap. And a couple of years ago, I'll go into that in a minute. So how to do that, but then also how to not be on the revenue roller coaster that I was on for so many years. How many of you find yourself, and by the way, I think we have a couple extra people I just can't see. So use hands or whatever to let me know. How many of you find yourself chasing after a client and then focusing on fulfilling? And while you're focusing on fulfilling, you find that there's no money coming in. I call that the revenue roller coaster. And I was on that for years. And if you read my post about the car, I talked about how 2 years ago on my birthday, which is February, we could not afford to go to a nice dinner. We went to Chicken Salad Chick, which I don't know if any of you know what that is. It's a fast food joint with chicken salad. It's, I think, $10 a meal. So we could afford $20 for dinner, and that was it. Sorry, my dog's making funny noises. I wasn't sure what's going on. So, that was my birthday dinner. And because we were in a low cash flow month, we were in a month where we were doing a lot of fulfilling, but we didn't have a lot of money coming in. So I finally said, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm done with this. I need to figure out a way to build consistent income and not build task list stuff. Personally, I hate having to build. Let me rephrase that. I love building and creating in Keap. I hate having deadlines and projects that I have to complete for other people and get them done in a certain period of time. I get stressed out when my task list is this long, which it usually was. So in my case, I decided that I had two options. I could either work on teaching my clients, dogs. Shh. I could work on teaching my clients how to use Keap and how to build it themselves, or I could teach that, I could hire it out. And I'd already hired in and outsourced previously, and it didn't go the way I wanted. So I didn't want to go that direction again. So in my case, I decided that I wanted to just teach. I wanted to make sure that they knew and understood how to do it. I did not want to do done for you anymore. So, and this methodology will work either way, but you have to have the ability to fulfill if you're going to do the fulfilling side. Does that make sense? So what I did was I had to go back to basics. You know, I have my master's, I have my bachelor's in information technology. I have my master's in marketing. I tease my clients that I had all of that before the internet. So like Al Gore invented the internet, I invented digital marketing. Ha ha ha. Right. So I'm a little older than most of you. Matter of fact, I'm probably a lot older than most of you. So I've been around the horn for a while. And so I had to figure out how to fulfill all of that. But part of having a master's degree and part of being, quote unquote, the expert, I'm a marketer, means I turn a lot of do as I say, not as I do. Anybody else in that category, right? I didn't do a business plan. I know how to write a business plan. I got an MBA. I don't need to write a business plan. It's in my head. I don't need to do that with marketing. I'm a marketer. I can jump ahead and do this and this and this. So I found myself in a situation where I said, you know what? I need to let my ego go. I need to let all of those voices in my head saying, I can't afford it. I don't have time. I'll do it later. I'll do it when I have time, which is saying never, right? So once I got through all of that, I had to just let all of those go. And I had to start with the basics. I had to start with the foundation right in the beginning. So the first thing I want to do with you guys today is to identify, well, first is to help you get rid of those voices. So what other voices are you hearing? I can't afford it. I can't think about it. I don't have time for it. Here's the other big one. Tell me if you've heard this one in your head. How do I want to phrase it? I need the money, so I'll take the sale. Even though you know it's not something you either want to do.
I've never done that.
You've never done that? Good for you, George. He's laughing. All of us, right, have taken the sale. So I had to really focus on, yes, self-doubt is a loud voice. Absolutely, Justin. And it can tear you apart. Oh, Tina's here too. Hey, Tina. It can tear apart the thought process. It keeps you awake at night. You freaking put your head on the pillow and you can't fall asleep because you're worried about where's the money coming from? How am I paying this, right? So we got to get off of that. So first of all, pull out a piece of paper. By the way, this is going to be interactive. I'm not just going to be a talking head. So I'm going to ask you guys to unmute and chime in. I think you learn better when you're doing versus just listening to me. I let my ego go. Although I do tease people. Yesterday, I was teaching a course on building funnels and using Keap and doing all of the stuff that I do. And by the way, teaching classes is a big way that I sell a lot of apps. Because as part of the class, I focus on Keap. I give them the templates, I give them the campaigns, so they have to buy the software to be able to use it. But they were like, oh my God, Jamie, you're amazing. You're this. I'm like, yeah, you can just call me the queen of the sales and marketing automation universe. And they were like, all right. So they did the rest of the whole class, right? That's the only place I let my ego go. Okay. So write down, I can afford it. I do have time. I don't need, in capital letters, the sale, or whatever that negative voice in your head is. Turn it around and write down the positive. And I want you to take these and make them Post-its. Stick them all over your monitor. Stick them on your mirror in the mornings. Stick them on the dashboard of your car if you're driving, wherever it is that you will see that. I can make the time. One of our dear friends and clients for many years now is Michael Gerber, the author of the E-Myth. And Michael talks about working on your business, not in your business. Those little voices are all the in your business stuff. Turn them around to positive and work on your business. Okay. All right. So that's the first step. Everybody okay with that? Anybody have challenges or questions or thoughts on that? Nope. Yes, Justin?
Yes. The self-doubt. My little brain always doubts what I do. Little history on me. At 10, I taught myself how to wire a house because the house that my mother and brother and I lived in had one outlet in each room. So I taught myself electricity and how to wire the house at 10.
Wow.
I taught myself how to repair engines and became an ASE certified master mechanic, working in dealerships for 12 years. Taught myself how to do computers, became MCSE certified engineer, ran my own ISP, MSPs, and it went into digital marketing several years ago. I'm not a dumb guy, but I always doubt myself. How do you overcome that?
So here's a trick, and I think I said this to someone else recently as well. Imposter syndrome. Yeah, exactly, Joanna. And many of us suffer from it. Even when we're listed, on the top of the charts, we're still like, well, crap, who am I to do this? Which is the teasing with the queen of the automation universe. I have to tell myself things to get myself to believe it sometimes. And by the way, from the car accident, I have a tremor, so it affects my voice and my hands. So when you see this, it's not that I'm nervous. I love doing this. It's just it affects my voice. We're still working on that part. So now I have both hands, but they shake all the time. So this year I'm doing it with shaky hands instead of one hand. So Jeremy teases.
That's a step forward.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's all good.
Exactly. So Justin, the thing that if you aren't confident in yourself, step back and rely on the confidence of the program that you're using, of Keap, of this massive company, and the success rate of all of the customers who are using it when they have a guide. The other thing that I want you to remember is if you were driving from, where do you live, Justin?
Florida now.
Florida. So if you were driving from Miami to LA, there's 100 different routes easily that you could take, right? Mm-hmm. But if you got as far as Texas and somebody called you, George, who's in Miami, called you and said, hey, Justin, how do I get to LA? And you would say, well, I took this route and this route and this route and this route. You could get them as far as you are in Texas, and you're going to go farther ahead of him as he's coming behind you. So he's 1,000 miles behind you. You're 1,000 miles ahead. Can you keep guiding him until you get all the way to LA?
Absolutely.
Well, think of yourself in the same way with your customers. Look how much farther ahead you are with Keap, how much farther ahead you are with whatever it is you do.
Mhm.
You're 1,000 miles ahead. You might not be at the destination yet where you're the top expert in the world. None of us are, but we're far enough ahead of our clients that we can guide them to get at least as far as we are. Make sense?
It does.
Does that help?
In this moment, yes. After we get off the call, we'll see if the little voices
So
come back.
when the voices come back, just keep saying, I'm 1,000 miles ahead. I'm 100 miles ahead. I'm 50 miles ahead. Hell, I'm 20 miles ahead, right? That
Even if
20
I'm just around the block, I'm still ahead.
Exactly, right?
I would say that you're the 10-year-old that was rewiring electricity in their parents' house.
Exactly.
I would have been fried.
Yeah, and the house would have burned. Exactly. So you've got the skill set. Just look at where you are compared to where your clients are. Don't look at where the rest of the world is. Look at where you are and where your clients are, and you're always ahead of them.
Gotcha.
Okay.
That's helpful.
Cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Excellent. Okay. So speaking of clients, now that we got your heads straight, right? The next thing is one of those comments we talked about is, I need the sale, so I'm going to take it, right? Regardless of what it is. I don't like doing it. Did you ever have a client call you and the phone rings and you dread picking it up? Like, oh God, I really don't want to take this call. It's really nice when you can A, not take those to begin with, or B, fire those clients and say, see ya, here's someone else that can help you, right? Or that sounds terrible, but it does feel really good. So getting to the point where you're only taking the clients that you want. So who is the client that you want? What do they look like? What kind of business are they? If you, in the beginning, when I suffered to sell, say, apps, and quite honestly, I mean, I was making $250,000 a year easily, but it was a lot of start and stops, low cash flow, not feeling like I could do anything. Plus I had 3 children I was raising at the same time. So whatever wasn't going to my employees or my vendors or my outsourcing was going to the kids. And I was driving an old beat up van and cars that, are not like what I'm driving today. So it was a different thing. So really narrowing the focus of what your client looks like. So do any of you have particular industries you work with? Tina does, right? Tina works with authors a lot. Anyone else?
Yeah, Jimmy, we talked about it where I'm doing insurance people and real estate.
Right, exactly. So Jan's got real estate and insurance. Why is my link not working? Coaches and creatives, Joanna, good. I do coaches, speakers, authors, and coaches is what I do. There we go. All right. So I've got a little spreadsheet that I used and that I use with my clients. So George, I'm going to kind of use you as an example. Oops, I don't have my example, but we'll just pretend this is it. I had a client come to me once and say, I have this amazing face cream. And I said, okay, great. What's it do? And she said, well, it takes care of wrinkles and anti-aging. Okay, fabulous. It takes care of acne and any problems with that. Okay, great. It takes care of rosacea, and the list kept going on. And I swear it made your morning coffee for you as well, right? It was this massive list of stuff. And I said to her, so who's your client? And she said, anyone with skin. So if I say, here's this amazing this amazing cream. It does this and this and this and this and this, and it even makes your morning coffee. Are you going to buy it? Now, if you're a rosacea sufferer and I say, this is the most amazing thing for rosacea, you'll get your self-confidence back, you'll lose the itchy, whatever, you'll be able to go out in public and not fear all the red on your face. Would you buy it if you were a rosacea sufferer? Yeah. And then if I say to the teenagers, hey, it kills the zits before your date, hey, it gets rid of the lines to the 50-year-olds, this is the standard marketing stuff we know, right? This is what we tell our clients, but are we using it ourselves? Making sure that we know who our client is and using the right messaging. So with this spreadsheet, I delve into 3 different types of clients: speakers, authors, and coaches are the 3 I do. And in it, I go into great detail. Let me open it up so I have it in front of me. Great detail. Who are the clients? What are the ages? Why is this not? There we go. So what's the age, relationship status? Do they have kids? And you're saying, I'm marketing for them. Why do I care? Because you need to get into the conversation that's going on in their head to be able to talk to them. Right? And we need to know, are they stressed out about, getting their work done because they have the kids and they're doing too much replying or sending out emails or sending out their free gift because they didn't have something set up for their lead magnet, and knowing what these conversations are. Are they a business owner? Are they a business employee? Who are they? What are their days like? Notice political views, religious views. You may not care about those, and some of them you may not fill in, but take all of the things you can. How is life going to be different as a result of working with you? What's the worst thing that could happen if their problem is not solved? Right? Some of these questions. Then at the bottom, I have, no, I don't. This is not the edited one. Yeah, I do. Favorite brands, favorite websites. Where are they hanging out? Social platforms. Where are they hanging out? Where can you find them? Okay. Now, I recommend you do 1 at least, up to 3. I wouldn't go beyond 3 to start. Pick 1 and start with that. Now, once you really know all of that, then it gets easy to start figuring out what the messaging is, what the conversation is. Now, when you guys, and actually here's a second question. The other niche or narrowing that I did was I made the conscious decision that yes, I'm an automation specialist. I can do Keap, I can do Active Campaign, I can do HubSpot, I can do Go High Level, but I can't be an expert at all of them. And I chose the horse that I wanted to bet on. And for me, it was Keap. So when I have clients come to me and say, can you do this or this or this or this, unless it's a very special client who I'm doing a lot of strategy with, and then I outsource it to someone like Jillian to be able to do the Active Campaign or something like that, I don't take it. It's only very particular ones that I will, and with very specific, here's the guidelines around what I'm going to offer for you. So I picked 1. Couple of reasons why that was important to me. If I need to know, now that I know who my ideal client is, I need to know all of the things that they need to figure out how to do with automation. What are the things that are going to make their lives easier? Is it funnels? Is it automate, is it the calendar and having multiple texts go out to remind people so we increase their show ratio? Is it email blasts, broadcasts? Is it texting? What is it that's going to make their life easier, that's going to get them 4 to 10 hours a week back in their business so they can be the expert and not be the VA for their business? So once I know that, I can start to focus on how do they do that in Keap. I don't want to have to know. I want to be competent enough to build my self-confidence, Justin, and lose that imposter syndrome. And I can't do that in 10 programs. I figured, and I'm a pretty smart cookie, but I didn't want to have to know how to do it in everything. So I picked one lane, and that's the one I stuck with. And that made my life a whole lot easier because I became more confident in the product I was offering, in the solution I was offering. I don't know if any of you, how long have you guys, George has been around a little while. How long have the rest of you guys been? Were you here 2 years ago when Keap started?
I was not in Keap. I moved over to Keap and became a partner in Keap in October.
Oh, good.
Prior to
Welcome.
that, I was all in with Active Campaign. So in the midst of trying to grow and build my Keap business, I'm transitioning everything out of Active Campaign, doing that, keeping the money coming in from that side while I'm building the Keap pieces. I liken it to changing the tire on a school bus as it's going on a field trip.
Yeah.
And so you're trying to build this new business and focus everything on Keap, in the middle of the website redesign and service offerings and all of that, but still keeping that other the income coming in to pay for Keap.
Right.
So
No, understood. So and I asked because I think it was about 2 years ago, Jeremy, when Keap was just being switched or was just turned on and we were just starting to sell it. And Scott was doing the monthly partners call. Scott Martineau wanted to interview the top 3 people, which happened to be all women. It was Lindsay, me, and the woman in the Netherlands. I can never remember her name. Inez? No, it's.
Oh, yeah. I think that's it. Ines.
Yeah. I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
And he was interviewing us on how we sold Keap. So he asked Lindsay and she said, and he asked Inez and she said, and he came to me and said, Jamie, how do you sell Keap? And in all seriousness, with this broadcast going live, I looked at him and said, I don't sell Keap, Scott. And Scott's face kind of went like, what the heck is this woman doing on this interview? And I said, I sell solutions. Keap is just the tool that I use to provide the solutions. And I think I said something to the effect of, they don't care if I'm using unicorns to put it together, as long as I can give them the solution they want. So it blew up like unicorn automation or something, hashtags for a while. Anyway, it was a moment that Scott was like, thank God, I'm so glad you said that. I was like, and you thought I didn't sell Keap. So, and I wasn't selling that many. I was selling Keap, but I wasn't selling as many as I am now. It was a couple here and there. I had just sold more of the Keap apps than I was selling the Infusionsoft apps at the time. So selling the solution, when you have a particular niche, a particular audience, a particular group that you can focus on, you know the software and how to use it and how to provide what they're looking for, you go in with much more confidence when you're talking to that person because you know it, you've built it. And you may, and I mentioned this to Jan when we were talking last week, you may build out, like one of my particular client group that I work with follows a particular person, influencer, and I've built funnels, all of his funnels out. So it shows them exactly how his funnel is built and how you use it. That's what I was teaching yesterday. So from all of that, I'm trying to think who's coming in my door. Oh, Matthew's here. So from that, you can really focus on building out a template, and it makes it even more confident. Hey, I know the struggles you're going through. I know what it is. Here I have this solution, this solution, this solution. Are those things that can help you? And of course, they're like, well, yeah. So they're selling Keap is just a byproduct of solving their problems. Makes sense? Anybody ready to get back to basics? Yeah.
Yep.
So
the little hamster in my brain's running pretty quick at the moment.
good. So now that you know the client, you know their problems, you know their solution that you have to offer. The next thing is figuring out, and by the way, it doesn't take that long to do this. If you sit down on a weekend, you can have the answers by Sunday night, right? Today's Friday. So I expect a Facebook Messenger from all of you Sunday night saying, here's what I figured out. Okay. So once you figure that out, then it's time to start figuring out where they're hanging out, where you might join. Maybe it's Facebook groups, right? Any of you ever part of BNI? You know, they talk about what they call power teams. A power team for them is like when you're doing a wedding, it's a photographer, a caterer, a flower person, music people, wedding event planner. They all have the same clients, but they don't compete against one another. So figure out who your power team is, who, or in the restaurant, the kitchen remodeling business, you have a plumber, a countertop guy, a cabinet guy, a floor guy, a painter. So who's your painter? Who's your cabinet guy? Who's the power team that you can work with that can introduce you to people who already have problems, who already have solutions that they need you to provide? Anybody have any ideas? Sure, George. You're muted.
Yeah, I've been toying. I mean, you know that I'm kind of into wine, and I've got that as kind of a, and the wine distributors know all the wine stores and have an in because they have no choice but to buy from them. That's kind of an interesting way to go at it.
Yeah, build your power team because they will provide referrals. By the way, when was the last time one of you asked for a referral?
I always ask.
Oh, good. And
Yeah.
how are you doing at getting them, Clive? I didn't see you sneak in either.
You didn't see you sneak in?
I didn't see him. I didn't see you sneak in. Clive knew me before I was doing all of this. We met at
Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins. Yeah.
Tony Robbins. Oh man,
Yeah.
that was a while ago. Yep.
That was actually Clive met my husband and said something about automation. And my husband said, you need to meet my wife. And next thing you know, we were best friends.
Yeah, definitely. We still got to connect up here in Georgia. We're both in Georgia. We still got to connect in here. We still got to connect out there. I
Yeah.
gotta come down there one day. But yeah, definitely. I want to be able to. I mean, like I said, I took time off because I have my main business is the cleaning business, you know, and now you know, sometimes we get the big head and we think that we know. I learned a little bit of automation, and I went to New York and we were talking about partnerships and you know, because I was using Keap at the time. And then, so anyways, just long story short, I'm just getting back into it this year. I just sold my first app the other day, but with everybody, I've just noticed, I'm just telling people that, hey, I sell apps, and I'll be like, yo, you know anybody else that can use me? You know what I'm saying? That like I told people, I do two things: help them use Keap. I don't sell like an individual thing. I just have a whole program that I sell for them. So if they don't need that whole thing, I don't really just sell it to them one by one. I don't know if that's, I'm just seeing how that works, because it was very hard making these custom solutions for everybody. And a lot of times people didn't know what solution they actually needed.
Sure. And I've done very similar, Clive. When I offered Chinese menu, it was confusing and it was hard on us. It was hard on the clients picking what they thought they wanted or needed, because they don't know what they don't know. When I exerted myself as the expert, again, even if I'm only around the corner from where they are, right, in knowledge, although I'm sure each and every one of you is 1,000 miles ahead of them, to use that analogy.
Yeah.
I knew what they wanted and needed and said, here's the package. I'm the expert. This is what you need. You might not be using this piece of it today, but I guarantee you will be once you figure out the rest of it. So I only offer the package. I offer a couple of different packages for the clients. I have 4 programs. I have what I call the play date, which, by the way, remember when I said I wanted less tasks and less to-dos? Play date is my onboarding. I do it as a group call. I do it once a month and bring them all together and onboard them on how to use Keap. I do what I call my customer journey jumpstart, which is an 8-week course, taking them through all the steps of identifying their, I got the hiccups, identifying their ideal client, identifying what the journey is, what are the products they're going to sell them, and then talking about and giving them campaigns for events and webinars, referrals, engagement. I forget what else is in there. I think 2 more campaigns. So they spend $5,000 for the course if they want a weekly call with me, or I'm sorry, $5,000 for the course, or $8,000 if they want the weekly call with me. So they get group and private. Okay. And then I do an annual program, which is $3,000 a month, 3 times a month strategy program. And those are one-on-ones, but I only take 20 of those at a time. So I'm limiting the number of hours that I have to work a week. So, and I also, by doing 3 a month, I give myself a week that I can take off completely. Yes, George.
So your model is you have these high-end folks, 3,000 a year, 3 calls a month. And then what's the other model?
The 8-week group coaching. And most of the people from the 8-week group coaching, once they see the coaching and the strategy, they want the bigger model.
How much you charge for the 8 weeks?
$5 for the course, for the group course, which includes 5 different campaigns that they're getting with it, or automations. Now, I still haven't switched from campaigns to automations. I'm completely Keap Pro everywhere else, but that I still stuck in my head.
And so that's 500, you said?
$5,000.
$5,000. Okay.
Yeah. Or if they want a weekly call with me for the 8 weeks, I charge them $8,000.
Let me, and Jamie, so what is your main channel of promotion? What is your main, is it just talking to people? And what is your main thing? And I don't want to be spread around trying to be doing 100 million things. And I just know that I've just seen so many partners who don't have like YouTube, Instagram, they're not doing a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm like, all right, so what are you doing for that lead generation? Because I've been going to events, talking to people now that's out here. That's what I enjoy doing, but I don't know how, but I'm just asking, I just like to ask everybody, what do you do to generate, to just talk to people, have those conversations?
Yeah, mine comes completely from referrals. I have not spent dime one on Facebook ads.
Yeah.
I don't use Instagram. I don't use LinkedIn. I don't use Twitter or TikTok. I use Facebook a little. I've just started a Facebook group. I do use Facebook in joining other people's groups where they could be a power team kind of member. So I'm not going into somebody else's automation site and saying, hey, I'm an expert, come with me, because morally, I don't want someone doing that to me, so I don't do it to them. But I will go into a business coaching site and say, hey, so, you're having problems with your daily tasks. Hey, I could help you with some automation. Or I was having that same problem. I learned to automate my business and I 12x'd it in a year, right? And then they're like, wow. And then I pull them into a private conversation, a messenger conversation, and say, so tell me what your challenge is. What are your goals? What are you trying? Hey, here's a program I have that could help you with that. And I convert them that way. So that's probably my biggest lead gen kind of thing. But everything else comes to me from referrals and from identifying opportunities. And that's another whole class. Identifying opportunities in places where other people don't think about it. So once you narrow in on who your clients are, all of a sudden you'll be in a conversation, you'll go, this person knows my ideal clients, and creating strategic partnerships, power team, right? Really going deep into it. But we don't have time to do that today. So what other questions do you guys have? Did that answer? Did that help, Clive?
Yeah, that helped a lot. I mean, I just feel like I'm on the right path because I talk to a lot of people, and just like I said, that's what's been going on. Like I said, I got 2 clients right now. I've only just this last month been going hard, and I feel like I'm still building out pieces because there's a lot of things that I have to build out as I'm explain a video that I want to have, things that I want to have as I go through the sales cycle and explain things to people and they ask questions. But yeah, it hasn't been a problem. People, because I just see genuinely, I talk to you guys every day and I see so many experts and I'm in the group and things like that. And then you start being like, everybody knows about automation. And then you start figuring out when you talk to people, nobody knows the beginning. 99% of people don't know the beginning, because you see all these commercials for them and you see Keap, Active Campaign, Go High Level, right? You see all these people MailChimp and you say that, and the most I hear people talking about is, yeah, I use MailChimp. I send out an email blast every week, and that's the extent of people's automation.
Right.
So there's a big work there.
And I have fun with them. Matter of fact, I told you I don't take clients that are anything but Keap most of the time, or that I think I can convert to Keap. I've got a big one I'm working on now, Jeremy, who's been using Active Campaign. He's a speaker and coach and has hundreds of clients. And his list is almost 300,000, I think.
Nice.
And we were doing something and he needed to figure out how to do it in Active Campaign. I'm like, and we figured it out. And I said, I can tell you how easy this is in Keap. And I showed him. And then something else we were doing, couldn't do it quite. I'm like, I can show you how easy this is in Keap. And I showed him. And all of a sudden he was like, because in the beginning he was like, I used Infusionsoft. I was there twice. I was with Confusionsoft. I swore I'd never come back. He's coming back. So
Jamie, so let me ask you, I mean, you're never selling Keap. You're going after, authors, speakers, coaches. And your sell to them is, yeah, we'll sell you that, but you're on this 8-week, $5,000 program. And that doesn't include Keap, right?
no, they buy that separate.
Okay, so that's 3 calls a month, and then you give yourself a bye week so that you don't have to work that week. Now,
Yeah, so if somebody wants custom strategy, they want to learn how to do custom things, like a done for you kind of thing, I do it with them in that $26,000, or I do 26 grand if they pay up front, or 3,000 a month if they want to pay monthly. And so in that process, I'll help them build it out, or I'll build it and give it to them. on the call, but they're running it. I'm not running it. I'm just building the foundation and showing them how to edit all of it. So I don't want to do done for you. Now that's a choice. Some of you want to do done for you and you love that. And so, you know, pick the lane, pick the client that wants done for you stuff. I want somebody who wants to learn for themselves and wants to hire their own team. Maybe wants me to train their whole team. So that's part of the picking the lane.
It's
And
really,
what I-
but it's your templates that are really valuable, because otherwise you jump into Keap cold and you're kind of like, okay, where do I start?
Well, they don't even know. They don't care that it's Keap. Other
No,
than this guy was like, I was there twice and still
No,
I
no,
converted him.
I appreciate that, but I mean, Keap is pretty useful out of the
Yeah.
box, but you have to kind of get an orientation to get
This is
going.
my play date.
So you have a play date
Yeah, that's my play date.
and everybody
Talks
gets one of
about-
those?
It gets their business line set up. It gets their clients imported. It gets their first campaign started. It gets them understanding easy automation. I help them set up whenever a sale comes in or an appointment comes in, it sends them a text that says cha-ching. They love that on their phone. So they get these cha-ching texts, you know, every time something comes in or when they wake up in the morning. You know, those kinds of things that they're like, this is great, I love it. And then I take them to the next step. So it's baby steps on most of them. Some of them dive right into the big stuff because they're bigger speakers and they know what they want and they know what they want me to do for them.
And what
So,
do you
Jamie-
charge for that play date?
The play date, if they buy Keap, they get it for free. If they buy Keap from me. If they already have Keap, I charge $500 for it. Did I hear someone else? Was that Clive
Yeah, so-
again?
No, this is Mark. Jamie, I
Oh, hey,
appreciate all
Mark.
this information. I'm like, so I've had like my partnership for just about over a year and a half. I've been in my full-time job, but now I'm really trying to focus on doing this also. Just starting out and understanding, like, you know, having the avatar, the personas, understanding the value ladder based off of what you were just saying. That sounds like that's what that is. Like,
Right.
but when you're just starting out with just trying to find those customers, like, I mean, yeah, go where they are. I understand that part of it, but how do you, like, did you pitch just the Playdate program first, or like, what was your focus on the initial start of everything? Like, how did you like get them to win over?
Yeah, so going back to, I changed my model to be more of a coaching model. But as I said, when I started it, it was, here's what coaches need. They need a template. They need a campaign to do long-term nurture. They need a lead magnet template, a campaign. They need a live event campaign of some sort. So when I was talking to them and they were saying, you know, I have problems with registrations and figuring out how this is, and this is in this program, and this is in this program, and this is in this program. And I'd say, all right, so how about if we provide a solution that everything is in one place? This is what it does. This is all you have to do to do it. Great, that's great. I love it. What do I need to do that? Well, you need to buy Keap and you need to buy this program from me. So the conversation was more about sales 101. And I've been in sales. I was the top Girl Scout cookie salesperson when I was a kid, right? So I've always been one who is competitive when it comes to that and wants to be able to complete a sale. And I've sold back of the room for speakers $200,000 packages and sold them no problem. The trick to selling anything is understanding, first of all, it's about them and not about you. When you're sitting there saying, so how do I provide Keap? How do I introduce Keap? How do I tell them what the price is? How do I tell them what you've got that conversation going on, you're not listening to them. So sit and listen 900% to every word coming out of their mouth. Have a series of questions to carry on the conversation. What's their biggest goal and why? What's their biggest challenge and why? What would it mean if they solved that challenge? What's it going to mean if they don't solve that challenge? Having the conversation, and we haven't mentioned Keap or technology at all. We've talked about what their challenges are. How are they envisioning solving the challenge? And then providing suggestions on what if this kind of thing. When you get them in that, you're ingrained in what they care about. You're joining the conversation that's already going on in their head, and you're providing a solution for it. It's a sale every single time. Doesn't matter what you're selling.
Cool.
I can definitely say that speaking with Jamie last week, she changed my mind around in so many ways with regard to what I was doing. And I mean, I've done this while a little bit of my background, I was in law enforcement for 32 years, but the last 18, I was the officer in charge of the information technology unit. I'm no neophyte when it comes to anything like this. I've been a Keap user for about a year and a partner since October, probably about the same time as Justin. And so I was preparing a webinar to be able to sell, but I was going after, quote, salespeople. And that, like Jamie mentioned, could be half the earth for all that's worth. I wasn't niching down enough. And, I'm one of the things that I've done along my road, not only I'm a business optimization specialist. I do business coaching, life coaching. Then I got into, I'm a master NLP practitioner. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, and I've also certified in conversational hypnosis. I know the things to do when I get somebody to make the sale. But problem I was having until I talked to Jamie was, how do I get those people in the first place? And so just like Mark probably was just asking. But when she mentioned what lane do you want to go in, that's when I mentioned about insurance, which I did before I became a law enforcement officer. I did that for about 8 years. And with that, I changed the whole direction of my webinar, my PowerPoints and everything, which Jeremy, I'm still working on. I'll let you know when I do it. And but with that, if it wasn't for getting all the tax preparation ready for my accountant, which we just finished and everything, my wife has an event in March on her business, and I've helped her with all that in Keap, for example, except I don't get paid for doing that. And so with that,
but she can refer you to people.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, I'm glad that's helped to pull it all in. So,
yeah, and having done all that stuff, now I can work on my own business, and I'm hoping to have that webinar in March. But maybe when I get back, her event's in Hawaii, by the way. So,
nice.
Yeah. So,
Jamie, you had some other. Do you want to close it real quick with another closing thought? I've got a hard stop here.
Yeah, Jeremy's got to stop. So, I hope this gives you a head start. Now, in the process of everything I did last year, Jeremy and I were talking at one of the events we were at, and I came up with 9 or 10 different strategies. This is just one of them. I'm going to be talking about some of them at PartnerCon. Are you guys all signed up for PartnerCon? So I have an hour session there. It is going to be interactive. I'm going to have worksheets and stuff like that. But I also have had people say, hey, I really want you to mentor me. I really want you to be part of what's going on. So I created 2 programs. I have a mastermind where I'm bringing people together, and you get some one-on-one coaching as well that I have available. And I'm only taking 10 people. I have just started it. I have 1 in. And I'm looking to fill the other 9 spots. And then I'm also taking the 9 modules, the 9 topics I came up with, and I'm going to create a video course before PartnerCon. I'm going to offer it for $497 at PartnerCon, but if that's something you're interested in, I'm going to give you guys a 50% off to do that. So it would be $247. and something. So I've got links here. The mastermind is 600 if you want to do it monthly, or 6,000 for the year. By the way, I charge 26,000 for my clients. So I'm giving you guys a huge discount as partners to do that. So that's the monthly and annual. And then the third one is the Partners Growth video course. It is a do-it-yourself. There's no one-on-one with me, but I'll be laying out the strategies that I've used. And if you're interested in that, the discount, the promo code is CORE, not for video, just it only works for the video, but the code is CORE, if that makes sense. Any questions? Was this helpful for anyone? Was it worth the
Very
hour you
much.
just spent?
Yeah. What's the final one, the growth video?
That's the video course. So it's no one-on-ones. But
And what are we getting with that one? What comes all of that? What's that?
that one, I have 9 or 10 topics that the different strategies I used last year. So I'll go into depth on those.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Jamie. I recorded this, so I'll post this back up so you guys will be able to see the links as well. Thank you, Jamie, for sharing this. I mean, I know that a lot of people don't like to give their secret sauce out like that, and it's been great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome,
Thank
Jamie.
you,
Thank you.
Jeremy. And as
you,
I
Jeremy.
said, join me at PartnerCon, and I'll be leading your cheering section, just like Jeremy has done for me.
And I'll still do for all of you.
And he will.
Yes.
Oh.
All right.
And-
Thanks,
and
guys.
the other big tip, and I'm preaching to the choir, but for anybody watching, show up. Jeremy does this stuff, and we have 150 people, and we had 6 show up today. And Story Brands last week, there were 3. So remember that I have the time, and make time for yourself and your business. That's the biggest shift you can probably do.
Yeah, and Jeremy, I don't get these because even though I'm in Florida, I report up through Full Stack. Can you
Yep.
throw me onto your list?
Yeah, I will. Yeah, absolutely, George.
I'll see if we can convert them.
Thank you.
All right. Everybody have a great weekend. Thank you.
You do.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks, guys.